All right, so this is going to be a challenging lesson, but I trust that we'll be able to get through it together. So, the import keyword can be used to import a module, aka a file, but it can also be used to import something called a package. A package is a directory of modules. It's a folder of organized Python files. We declare a directory as a package by creating a special init.py file inside that folder. These init.py files are not meant to be executed directly as script files by us. Rather, Python runs them automatically the first time a program imports that directory, that package. So let's explore the directory structure that we have here. In the modules folder for this section of the course, we have a top-level project folder, and you can imagine this as a standalone Python application. Inside it, we have a main.py file, which is the launching point of our program and is currently empty. We also have a feature directory, which inside it has two things. The first is a copyright.py file, a module right here, and it's also empty. And you'll also notice it has this empty init.py file. That's the one that we just talked about. So what I want to do here is open up copyright.py, and we'll add an attribute right here, a variable called date of copyright, and I'll set it equal to the value 2020. By the way, the feature folder also has a sub-feature directory which holds another init.py file as well as a calculator.py file which contains the code that we've written previously in this section. So you can think of calculator.py as being just one sub-feature in our super complex nested application. We'll come back to this nested sub-feature folder and its calculator.py file in just a second. So I'm going to close this right here and collapse our sub-feature folder so it does not confuse us. So we can import either a module within a package, such as copyright.py, or a package itself, such as feature. The syntax will be the same, just the import keyword followed by what we want to import. But here's the catch. Whenever we import any module within the feature directory, such as copyright.py, Python will automatically look for a init.py file in the same folder. It's going to look for this file right here. And if it finds a file by that name, it will automatically execute the code within it. So one more time, when we import copyright.py, or any file for that matter, if there were 10 different .py files in my feature directory, if I were to import any one of them from the top level of my project from main.py, Python will automatically run the init.py file here. We can prove this. So let's go ahead and open this init.py file in my feature folder, and in here we'll add a print function call, and I'm going to write a string of I'm the init.py file inside the feature folder. This will remind us when we run this file, or rather when Python automatically runs it, where this code is coming from. So let's save this file and transition to the top level of the project, which is our main.py file. In fact, I'm going to close all of these files so we don't get confused. We are in the top level main.py file. And let's say I want to access that date of copyright variable declared inside the copyright.py module within my feature package. With a init.py file, each folder will exist as a package, and each module within it will exist as an accessible attribute on that package. So the syntax is going to be like this: import, followed by the name of our package, which is feature. Again, we are starting at main right here within my project folder. You can see it right here, very simply, main.py, and I'm going inside my feature package. Feature is not a file or a module, it is a package, it is a directory. But because we declared a init.py file within it, Python is going to know what we mean. So by itself, this will be enough to get the init.py file to run. So when I execute this, you're going to notice on the right-hand side, I'm the init.py file inside the feature folder. We are not explicitly running this file, but whenever we import the package, it automatically runs that file for us. Now, let's say we actually want to get that variable from within our copyright.py file. That copyright.py file right here is a module, which means it's going to be available as an attribute on this feature package. So what I can do is do import feature followed by a dot, and then copyright. All right, and now I can reference this exact code right here, invoke my print function, and I know that I want to get the file copyright within my feature package. And inside that file, inside that module, we know we have an attribute called date of copyright. And now when I execute this, you can see we're going to get 2020. We're also going to get the output from the dunder init.py file within the feature folder. Even though we are importing the copyright module right here, whenever we import a file within a package, Python will automatically run the dunder init.py file within that package, within that folder, within that directory. So now let's go one level deeper. I'm going to open up my sub-feature directory. This is another nested directory within feature, and I'm going to open up the dunder init.py file in here, and I'm going to add a similar print function call that's going to say something like, I'm the dunder init.py file inside the sub-feature folder. So this is one level deeper. So I'm going to save this dunder init.py file, and I'm going to head back to main. Now notice right now we are importing the copyright module within the feature directory, within the feature package. We are not reaching into the sub-feature package right here inside a feature, and because we're not reaching into any of the content here, such as calculator.py, this dunder init.py file will not run when we execute this file. However, if I do import either the sub-feature package or any of its nested modules, such as calculator.py, then Python will run the dunder init.py files in both my feature package, my top level, as well as my sub-feature package. So here's the proof. I'm going to delete line number 3 here. And first, I'm going to import a package within a package. So feature is my top level package. I do a dot, and then instead of a module, instead of a file, I'm going to put another nested directory, another nested package called subfeature. And if I execute this, we're going to get both of our dunder init.py file running. So here is the first one within the feature directory and its output. And here is the second one within the subfeature directory and its output as well. And then if I want to go for a file within subfeature, such as calculator, the syntax will simply look like this. Import package.package. The actual module I want to get is, of course, calculator. And then, of course, we can use the syntax to do something with that calculator module, such as access one of its attributes. So, for example, I can access the subtract function on it and subtract, let's say, 10 and 5. And on the right-hand side, once again, we're going to get our two outputs from the dunder init.py files at both tiers. And then here is our return value of 5. So now, let's say I also wanted to import my copyright.py module within my feature directory. If I wrote code like this, import feature.copyright, the dunder init.py file within feature is only going to run once. It's going to run on line number 1 when we do our first import of the calculator module. So again, line number 2 will make the copyright module available to be used in this main.py file, but because line number 1 is the first one that goes into my feature directory, it's automatically going to trigger this dunder init.py file to run. And because it's also going into my subfeature directory right here, it's also going to trigger this dunder init.py file to run as well. So line number 2 will give us the copyright module, but it's not going to change anything as far as the code on the right-hand side. So here I can once again access my attribute on my copyright module, like date of copyright, and there you can see we are not getting multiple print function calls out there, which means it's only happened once, and obviously that's coming from line number 1. Let me go ahead and comment out all the code we have right here. And I also want to show you that we can use our from import syntax to import a package into the current namespace as well. So we're not just limited to modules, we can import directories. So for example, I can say from my feature directory, import my subfeature directory. Or in other words, from my feature package, import my subfeature package. And now similarly, we're going to see the outputs from those dunder init.py files appear on the right-hand side. Now, what if I want to import my calculator.py module directly into this namespace? Well, again, I have to reference where it's coming from. So that syntax will look like this. From within my feature package, I want to reference my subfeature package. And then from that internal nested package, I want to import my module, which is going to be calculator. And then below, I can write, for example, calculator.subtract, execute that for you, and you can see we're going to get the value 7. Or alternatively, if you wanted to make subtract available right here in this namespace, you could also do this. From my feature package, I want to get my subfeature package. Within that, I want to get my calculator module. And from within that module, I want to import my subtract function. And that will make subtract available directly in the body of this file. And there you can see we're going to get 7 on the right-hand side. And again, because we're accessing this package, we're going to get the dunder init.py file to execute right here. And because we're accessing this package, we're going to get the dunder init.py file inside the subfeature folder to execute as well. So as many levels down as you go, that's how many dunder init.py files Python will automatically run for you. Whenever we access a package, aka a folder, a directory, Python will look for a dunder init.py file within it and run it. And it doesn't matter whether you're importing the package or any file, any module within the package, Python will still run the dunder init.py file. That's all there is to cover in this lesson, so I will see you in the next one.